Guys, I figured I'd show you all the Mustang before I went in. It's come a monsoon on me. That's how she turned out. Let me get y'all, sorry. Got her set at 7 pounds with it running. It's not dropping any. I got set the timing, new spark plugs because I forgot to do that, but she's running good and doing good. That's the bracket we made, the one that was all welded up on the bench in there. Got all the wires and looms. Repaired all the wiring over here on all that, put it in looms. That's how all that turned out. Put a loom over that fuel injection line. Got the choke hooked up. The timing's set, I set it by ear. I mean, it's decent, but it's not, it ain't right. I gotta set it with a timing light. I just run out of time. It's been hot today. I sure hope it's raining at Paris Island where my son's at, because it has been hot. I can only imagine being up there running in that shit. Let's crank it up real quick. Turned out pretty good. I love these things. You set your wires, you get them where you want them, and they're there. They're not going to move on you. You ain't got to worry about them getting down on the headers. Same way on this side. They used to be made out of like magnesium or something. I ordered these, and they're not aluminum. They're something. They almost feel like plastic, but a little bit harder. I didn't put a magnet on them to see if they were metal, but they don't feel the same as they used to. Let's crank her up. See if we can get it without getting the camera wet. Oh, it's about dark. I don't know if you can see it, but new key switch. I got dark on me. I run a standard. It's got a little bit of a lope to it. Because I run a standard transmission, I like to run it a little bit richer on the idle circuit, so you can ease off on the clutch a lot easier. But that's in first gear with the park brake on. Very controllable. Oh, I figured out why. Remember, I don't know if y'all can see that. I can, through the viewfinder, I can't see it, but I figured out why the amps are low on it. It's got underdrive pulleys on it. I didn't realize it till today. I was looking down there and I was like, well, no damn wonder. That's what they do, and then as soon as you rev it up, it'll come up. The underdrives keep it right below where it's barely charging. Well, we got a new key switch in it. We got the fuel pump relays under the seat. I had to pull the seat out, repair the cable for the adjusting the seat because some bitch wouldn't go back, but pulled it out, fixed all that, redid rehooked up the relay to come on with the key switch for the fuel pump. I had to reset the fuel pressure because, you know, once you get it running, it's going to change a little bit, and it did. It dropped down like 3 pounds, but I adjusted it back up to 7, and now when you rev it, it doesn't move at all, and it's working good. Didn't get to test drive it like we said we was going to do with it on the windshield because it's raining and I don't want to wreck it. Well, I won't wreck it, but I don't want to do 6 grand burnouts for 2 miles on the highway. Shit, we was drifting before drifting was cool. If you had a Mustang back in the 90s, hell, you was drifting everywhere you went because they like to spin. So you put some good tires on them. Let's go in here and talk about oh, look at my new project. This happened today. Look at that shit. That something split all the way down the damn middle. I had a hell of a windstorm a while ago. You ought to see me running in here throwing tools everywhere. I need to build me a different deal out there. I'm going to when I get a minute. I'll put y'all on tripod. We'll talk about this methanol. Y'all hear the rain? It's the first time I've been in here since we insulated it. It ain't half as bad as it used to be. Used to, you couldn't hear yourself talking in here before I insulated it. Alright, I finally got a minute to look at the instructions on the methanol kit. They don't want you to put the injector in the intake, which I think's bullshit, but that's what the instruction says. It says it's got to be 3 inches above the butterfly. Now, yeah, that's somebody's baby still, but I think they're doing that. They're wanting you to do that for puddling issues, like once the injector once it cuts off and it's under a lot of pressure, it's going to dribble a little bit of the methanol down in there. And with the butterfly closed, it'll land on the butterfly and it'll atomize it on out and into the engine through the little crack in the butterfly to keep it from puddling in the bottom of the intake. Now, I think we're still going to put the injector, like I said, just from just from what I know from messing with engines. This intake, the way it is designed, this runner's the same length. We talked about it last night. It goes to right here. This runner goes up to right here. This runner goes up to right here. And they're high up in, let's see, you can see it. The top one's high up at the top up here, and then the 2 lower ones are down low. So I don't think there's going to be no puddling issues. And what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and do it the way I want to do it. If it gives me troubles of some sort, which I don't think it will, I will move it up here. But I don't see any problem with it. Plus our Jeeps, you know, the breather tube comes off and goes down. Let's see if you see my hand. You know, our breather tubes hook up and go down like that to the breather box. So that's why I didn't want to put it in the tube. Because then, when it cuts off, it's going to dribble down the tube to the filter and wet the filter. And you know, me running a paper filter, that could cause problems. So I think the Snow Performance injection kit is about $800 for, you know, a methanol injection kit. They're really expensive, and for a naturally aspirated engine, they got a plate underneath the carburetor, like a nitrous plate, and the carburetor goes down on top of it, and that's how they run there. So I don't think there'll be a problem. I think they tell you that in the directions to, you know, CYA. You know, they don't want no puddling issues. But this engine right here, this intake is set up different. If you think of a V8 or a V6 or anything like that, the runners are up like this, basically, going down into the intake. So, you know, it could run down in one cylinder by itself and cause it maybe to hydrolock on that one cylinder. But all of these, all of our on our Jeeps, it's got to go up. It's got to go up to get to the head. So any puddling issues, it's not going to run inside the cylinder. It's just going to sit down in here until it evaporates or it pulls it in. We're going to try it my way. If it don't work, I'll tell y'all. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. But we think we're going to chuck it up. I gotta look at the fuel rail and stuff first. We may have to put it right here just to be safe. But I want to put it over here on this side, shooting that way towards the ports, instead of shooting it that way away from the ports into a wall over here. I want to shoot it that way. I'm doing it like I would if it was a nitrous setup. That's the way my thinking is on it. If it was nitrous setup, you'd want one in each port for best deal. And you could do these like that too, but it's more expensive. We're going to try it like this first. I'm going to put it either right here or right there. If I could put it right here, we're going to do that with the fuel rail on, and there ain't going to be no kind of interference. Now my trick is going to be for keeping the puddling down, which means when it stops misting and you shut it off and it starts dribbling out the little bit that's left in the line, I'm going to move the check valve. It's got a check valve that goes in line with that injector, and that check valve breaks at 150 psi. When it breaks through that 150 psi, that's when it sprays. But when you let off the pump, it's going to seal back up, and then whatever's left in the tube will just run out. So we'll just put that close to the injector. Is how we'll do that, and that'll cut down on any running down or anything like that. And another problem I see with it on the Jeeps is the motor, the pump motor itself has got to be mounted lower than the tank that the stuff's in, to gravity feed the pump. So that there is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to figure out somewhere to put it under the hood where it's not going to get full of water the first time we go out. I guess I could put it all on the inside, but I don't really want to do that. I don't like running stuff through the firewall. But anyway, I guess the subject of this video is just bullshitting and talking. Got a few people that signed up for these things so far, and we'll see how it goes by the end of the week. I wish all y'all luck on it. I'm going to try to do that every now and again from now on, like every so few many months we'll do something like that. I got some more parts up in here that I haven't used on my Jeep that I probably never will use. That's good stuff that y'all would probably like too. So we'll probably be doing that. I'm going to show y'all something else we're going to do. When we go to clean up this intake, I'll show y'all something. I did this on my old intake. We're going to do it on this one too. When you put your injector in there, it's seated. See how it's shrouded? I don't know if you can see it, but it's shrouded. The fuel's hitting this lip right here when it comes out. So when it's spraying, these are designed, as we all know, who's changed fuel injectors, these are designed for a single sprayer, right? One single squirt coming out. Well, with these 4 holes, they do work better, but when it's shooting out 4 streams, it's kind of hard for it to make it past that lip right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up into here a little bit on each one of them and give it a little extra room so the fuel can spray out into here. Every little thing helps. The stupidest thing that you think that wouldn't matter matters. Like let me tell you all this. Story time. I work for Wheelers. It's a place called Wheelers in Jacksonville. Dixie High Performance, Wheelers. We built race engines. I built 700-inch Donovan motors to 383s to 500 cubic inch small blocks, and just all kinds of stuff. And I ran the dyno room. I did dyno room time, running the dyno, and I was in assembly. Basically, I'd assemble the engines
me and another guy, we put them on the dyno, and dyno me and him and set them all up, and then we take them off the dyno, put them in a crate, send them out after it was approved the numbers that we come up with. But what I'm getting at is, you could take a carburetor on a race motor, you put a Holley on there, Holley 850, just a regular Holley, put a Holley 850 on there, say the motor made 800 horsepower. You put that Holley on there, it'll make 800 horsepower. You take the same exact CFM carburetor made by Da Vinci, which was a $2,000 carburetor, put it on there, it'll make 820 horsepower. Also, you can take the carburetor, set it on there. Now this was like the funnest motors that I built. Now I like building those high dollar Donovans and stuff. It was in Big Duke motors and Big Chief motors, and I love that stuff. But the coolest ones to build were the 500-inch lift 500-inch lift limit class roundy round motors. They couldn't do but certain things to them. Now those were fun because, you know, if you're building a Big Duke motor and you bolt big ass heads on there with 240 valves and almost an inch of lift, you know, 980 thousandths of lift, the damn thing's gonna make power. But if you only got 500 inches of lift, you got to use the stock head, and you're limited to the camshaft you can use and the head you can use. So you got to use a stock head with a 500-inch lift cam, and that's all you had. You could take, just talking about the little thing like that fuel injector right there, getting that lip out of there. You could take that roundy round motor and dyno it, and say it made, most of them made 550 horse, but they were, you know, 15-to-1 compression ratio with race gas. But you could take that carburetor and dyno that thing, and it make 515. You could loosen that carburetor up and just tweak it, just move it a little bit, bolt it back down, and run it again. It would change the airflow in it and make it make a little bit more. You sometimes, when you did that, you had to change the jets. That's why when we did little adjustments like that, we would mark every bolt on there with paint where they didn't touch it, because that's where the motor was set. And they usually run them until they popped, blowed up, or to the next season, and we would freshen them up and then do all that over again. But these little things, just like where that 4-hole injector is in there in place of that 1-hole injector, you wouldn't never think that little lip right there would do nothing, but you can feel it. There's an edge on it. The better that fuel can stay atomized coming out of that injector, the more power that fuel is going to make going into there. You got to have airflow and fuel, and you want your fuel to be atomized, like a mist going in there. And anything that it touches coming in, like that lip right there, is going to break that atomization up and make it lose a little bit of power. I mean, it's not going to be nothing, you know, extravagant or nothing, but every little bit counts. It's not what you got in an engine, it's how efficient that bitch works and how good it works. I mean, 10 years ago, a 320 horse naturally aspirated V6 in a Mustang was fucking unheard of. There's no way you could even do it. But nowadays, shit, man, that's common. That's standard numbers. It's like that LS motor. That LS motor, that LS engine that's sitting over here in the corner, there's more technology in that thing than in the 90s. The 14-degree heads it has, and the aluminum heads, and the way the block's done on that thing was, you would have had to spend $20,000 for a NASCAR motor, and it wouldn't have had that much technology in it, you know, 20 years ago. Things change, and they learn these little tricks to make everything efficient. The more efficient it works, the better it's going to make power. And like I said with the methanol, yeah, it's not going to make a bunch of power and be like a nitrous hit, but it's going to bring all this stuff to temperature, bring it down in temperature. The cooler the air you can get inside this thing, the better it's going to run. The denser the air coming into the fuel to mix, the harder the pop you're going to get out of that fuel mixture. The hotter it gets, the weaker the pop, and the timing, the easier it's going to fire. When your piston's coming up is coming up to the top and your timing fires that spark plug and sends it back down, the hotter that charge is, the more it wants to pop before it even gets up there to the spark, which is why the timing is lowered down by the computer to keep it from spark knocking. But all that little stuff matters. Just that little deal right there is a little bit, and we're gonna get that out of there. Now, as far as opening these ports up and all that, you don't need to really do that on these, because you want to keep the ports narrow, and you know, you can clean it up a little bit, you know, get this edge off of it and match it to what the head is, but you don't want to go no bigger here, because you want all the velocity going into this cylinder as you can get. The faster that air is moving when it goes through there, the more it's going to pack in there. The slower it's moving, the less it's going to pack in there. You know, you think about it. When you open that throttle body up wide open, and it's sucking that air in there, the faster that air can travel through there, the velocity, the more it's going to pack it in there as the speed gets going. That's why the RPMs go up, the horsepower goes up, because this starts going so fast through there, it just starts cramming air into it. If you go too big of a throttle body, it'll lose power. If you go too small, it'll lose power. It's got to be the proper CFM. These are 625. They should work good on a 4.0. But if you was put a 70 millimeter on here or something, it'd kill it. It'd kill it. I've seen people do it too on YouTube. I watched some of them guys put a 70 millimeter, a bored out 4.7 Dodge Ram throttle body on there, and it's got to kill it. I ain't seen any studies or anybody's tested it, but I guarantee you it does. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to show y'all the Mustang and tell you about the injector. I'm kind of wound up. It's been a long, hot day. Like, I'm out here at about 7:30 this morning. I don't know what time it is now, but it's dark. I'm kind of rambling on. But we're going to put the injector in there, like I said. We're going to clean up these injector bosses to where them injectors has got a straight shot out of there, and get this thing on there pretty soon. I think the old man's coming to pick the car up Sunday, so that'll be good. We can get back on the Jeep. Alright, guys, good luck with the contest, and I'll try to do that again sometime, throw y'all a bone. I appreciate y'all watching me and putting up with my redneck butt. I will holler at y'all later, man. Alright, bye.